Hi everyone, welcome to my monthly video chat where I sit down with the best and brightest in perinatal care in the greater Boston area. For those of you who don't know, my name is Angela Bell. I'm an acupuncturist and I specialize in fertility, pregnancy, and women's health. I'm excited because today we are here with Emily Masnoon. She is a yoga instructor, a doula, a Reiki master. She creates birth plans for women. There are so many exciting services that she offers that I can't wait to tell you about. So Emily, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I just gave them a super brief overview of what you do, but can you kind of fill in the gaps and tell us a little bit more about the services you offer?
Sure. So I teach prenatal yoga. I do group classes, private sessions. I also do Reiki healing, primarily on pregnant women, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I am also a doula. I'm a birth doula, so supporting women in birth. And then sort of separate from that, but kind of as a piece to it, I help women create their birth plans, which is a really important piece to, the whole pregnancy and birth.
I know. That's one of the most exciting things that I really want to talk to you about today, for me anyhow, because I feel like a lot of women going into pregnancy there's so many resources for them and so much for them to take advantage of. And birth plans, I think, is one place where women can benefit so much just by sitting down, kind of thinking through some scenarios and putting it in writing. So I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about the program you offer, and then maybe like how one person or one couple really benefited from putting together a birth plan.
So right now I have a little online program for helping women to create their birth plans.
Yep.
And it's designed to help tease out a lot of the different moving pieces of, leading up to the birth experience. Not only the birth plan, but who's going to be there, who makes sense to have at your birth.
Yep.
Where you want to birth, what makes sense based on your birth goals, things like that women don't realize that they do have to spend at least a little time thinking about and considering. It's not just, let me just pick something out of a hat. It all makes a huge difference to their birth experience, and that is a huge deal.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah. So an example, this is actually prior to me developing this, which kind of was one of the catalysts for, me developing something that people can really just kind of do at their own pace. I had a prenatal yoga student who came to me weekly for her prenatal yoga, my class, and her husband traveled often for work, and he just happened to have a business travel scheduled for right around her due time. And, I'm glad she covered her bases. I'm glad she approached me. We'd already built a rapport, and she asked me to potentially be on call for her as a doula. They weren't considering a doula, but she thought, this would be a good backup to have at least.
Absolutely.
So we did do a lot of the stuff that I do, with doula clients and in the birth plan, design experience. And just kind of go through a lot of these things that could potentially happen. Some of these things you don't even think about because you don't know they are possibilities.
Right.
And then you're blindsided when they present themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we did go through that stuff. He ended up returning right before she went into labor, the day before, less than 24 hours.
Like, thank goodness.
Yeah. But she emailed me after and just told me how thankful she was, how grateful she was that we had done the work that we did.
Yeah.
The prep work, because it was so incredibly useful. She couldn't imagine not having that stuff and having thought through a lot of that stuff had we not worked together briefly before birth. Yeah.
I just think it's such a huge, amazing resource for women because you just don't know what's going to come up in your birth. Things can change any minute. And having thought out how you would want things, if this should happen or if that should happen, it's so valuable and can really be supportive of your birth experience. So I'm so grateful that people have you as a resource because I think it's an amazing, amazing thing to go through in preparation for birth. Yeah. So tell us, now we kind of have an idea of what birth plans are like. Just give us an idea of why do you think it's what are some important reasons to have a birth plan? Like, what are some of the things that you might need to think out?
Well, these days, so many first-time moms go into labor and have never seen a labor before. They've never seen birth before. In this day and age, that's just the norm, and that makes it scary.
Yep.
It makes it stressful. And we have no idea, like, what happens during birth in general. So, just understanding, what will happen leading up to birth, what could happen at your place of birth, what their standards are, what their procedures are. Just thinking about some of the things that could happen during your birth.
Yep.
And just like specifying what your wishes are. I mean, there's no guarantee. It's not a contract, signed by anybody saying this is how your birth is going to go. But at least it's setting an intention inside, which makes a difference for you. But also, laying something out. You're not going to be in your right mind, really, when, you're sharpest, ready to listen and converse when things are happening. So you have a blueprint to look back and say, yeah, this was what I wanted. Mm-hmm. Not to say you can't change your mind at any point.
Right.
But also developing it is a really important way for you and your partner to get on the same page.
Yeah.
Rather than having these last-minute arguments when you're pushing your baby out. I mean,
right.
That just adds to the stress and the pain and everything else. So why?
Exactly. And I always think about, sometimes you have to make really big decisions when you are in a deeply emotional place, and having given some thought to it in advance so that you at least have that to draw on if you are presented with that, just huge value. Yeah, cool. So I know also you do a ton of teaching for yoga, and you're at a couple of different studios. So tell us where you are. And I also know you do prenatal and you do partner prenatal.
Yes. So I teach weekly prenatal yoga classes. That's just for the expecting mom, and it could be another female friend or sister or mom even as well. They're welcome.
Yep.
To come to class. Right now, I'm just teaching at Prana Power Yoga in Central Square in Cambridge. Mm-hmm. That might fluctuate as the fall comes back, so everything's on my website.
Yep.
And then the other fun thing that I teach are workshops. They're partner prenatal yoga workshops. So that's when an expecting mom can bring her partner.
Love it.
Partner of choice to the workshop, and we do some partner stuff. We do some, gentler yoga, because oftentimes the partners have never been to yoga, whatever. It's not about whipping them into shape or anything.
Right.
But it's nice to have that experience together. People love being able to connect in that way. We work in a couple of tips, simple things, simple breath work, simple hands-on stuff that partners can take advantage of and learn, and we have fun with those. And it's just such a nice time for them to connect. I hear that time and time again. What a great time it was for us to just breathe together, move together, and connect.
I think it's so awesome. I feel like, because in my practice I see just the women primarily, and it always feels like they're doing this huge big thing that birth partners, it's like sometimes hard for them to get involved. And this is such an amazing way for them to really get involved in the process. So I'm excited about it. I think it's awesome.
I love them. So much fun.
Are they so much fun?
Yeah.
And are you still doing like baby and me classes and tummy time and stuff like that?
Yes, I do tummy time workshops as well. I do them every couple of months.
Yeah.
And that's for, mom or dad and baby. And it's a class for the baby. It's obviously for parents too. Tummy time is not something easy to implement for everybody. So we just kind of walk through the basics of how to make tummy time accessible, make it enjoyable for your baby.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's a huge deal. I mean, it's not just a form of play. It's a big deal, and their motor skills, their development, their head shape, just so many things, and it can be simple and fun.
Yeah, and you get to connect with other women.
Yes, and I get to see them on the other end once the baby's on the outside.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. And so another amazing offering that you have is that you're a Reiki instructor. So as an acupuncturist, I know a decent amount about Reiki, but I think a lot of people don't know much at all about Reiki. Can you just give us an idea of what it is, and then why a pregnant woman might consider it during her pregnancy?
Yes. Reiki is a form of energy healing. So it's based on the premise that, we have our chakras, and the energy can kind of either be moving too fast or too slowly, and when things just generally get out of balance, that's an easy way to kind of to look at it and talk about it. When things start to get unbalanced, we feel them in a physical way or an emotional way.
Yeah.
So Reiki is a nice and safe way to help rebalance that stuff. And I love having prenatal Reiki clients because there's so much stress and anxiety involved with preparing, being pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that they have to take.
Yeah.
It's safe, and I just see the big differences that it has on people.
Mm-hmm.
People come to me riddled with anxiety, and you can just see it melt.
Yeah.
It just makes a huge difference.
I love that we have these kind of options. We're so lucky in Boston. We have so many amazing practitioners and so many offerings for pregnant women, but I think Reiki such a huge gift for yourself during pregnancy because it's stressful. You're preparing for the arrival of a baby. Many women are still working full-time jobs. Some women have toddlers at home that they're caring for. And it's just a lot to have. So to be able to give yourself this time like on the table to really nurture yourself, really wonderful gift. Huge value. So, all right, my final question to you is that as a doula and someone who works really regularly with women who are pregnant, is there one thing that you wish that more pregnant women knew?
Yeah, I wish that pregnant women knew what it looked like to give birth. I wish that we had that experience rather than just seeing videos, and even that doesn't happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I wish mostly that people could just be present at a birth and have that be the norm.
Yeah.
More now than it is.
That would be so amazing.
Yeah, that would just solve or help, really, really help alleviate a lot of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. And sometimes I get scared to recommend people to go onto YouTube because there are amazing, incredible, inspiring births on there, but there's some scary stuff too. And it's hard to weed out like what would be kind of the best type of video to show someone in preparation. And also women react so differently and have different preferences and different wishes for what their births would be. But I totally agree with you. I think, women being able to be more involved in birth and seeing and just knowing more about it in preparation for our own births would be amazing.
I'm so afraid of it.
Yeah, it would take some of that.
No, just not having no idea about it.
Yep, I totally agree. Well, that's amazing. I think, tell us what your website is, because all of this information, your website is so clearly laid out. It's really easy to read and kind of understand. So tell us what your website is so people can go check you out.
It's www.emilymasnoon.com.
Awesome. Well, that's easy peasy. And I'll include it. I'm going to post this on our Facebook group and my Facebook page, so I'll make sure to include it there. But thank you so much for joining me today. It was awesome to talk to you, as always, and I'm excited for people that they got a chance to see you in person, and now they can go to your website and really read in detail about your offerings, which I think are just huge, huge value. So thank you so much, Emily, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
All right, bye.